let's get one thing clear. The equestrian lifestyle is not for the weak. Even though the equestrian lifestyle is so rewarding, it can be really taxing on your mental health. Now, here are 3 things you should keep in mind to help you take better care of yourself. First, cater to your mind. Second, cater to your body. And third, cater to your soul. Hi, I'm Makayla. I am an equestrian life coach who has a 200-hour yoga certification as well as a bachelor's in psychology, and I have spent over a decade as an equestrian doing everything from riding in lesson programs to leasing, competing in the hunter-jumper world, as well as owning my own horse and then retiring him and bringing him home, advocating and caring for him on my own. Now, let's get back to the episode, but first, I'm asking you to subscribe and follow and maybe turn on notifications so that you get alerted the next time an episode drops. So when we're thinking about how the equestrian lifestyle can be really, really hard and especially taxing on one's mental health, I want to discuss ways to help combat this. And I also want to say the equestrian lifestyle is amazing. I love being a horse owner, but that doesn't mean the hard days don't happen. And that doesn't mean some moments just really suck. And I wish equestrians talked about this more, because so many times equestrians talk about all the good things and their horse gave them energy. It was a hobby, but they really loved it. Whatever it may be, but they don't always mention that some days it gets really hard. Some days you have to do the hard things and there's just no choice about it. It's hard to travel, or it's hard to day in and day out have no days off. This isn't a sport with days off. You're there, rain, snow, shine, whatever, like you're there. So thinking about that, I want to present 3 different lenses to view taking care of yourself through. First, catering to your body. For equestrians, this looks like knowing their body's limits and what physical exertion is right for them. So, as an equestrian, you might be someone who regularly rides 6 days a week, multiple horses. Maybe you're a trainer or you're just lucky enough to have multiple horses and be able to ride that often. Your body will be different than someone like me who has a retired gelding, who does not ride regularly, and hasn't ridden at a super high level in a few years. The bodies of these 2 individuals are different. So when thinking about how you're moving through your day-to-day life, you need to take it into account what your body can do and what your body is going to get really sore, if not hurt, doing. And that also means that you're allowed to take days to rest your body. And that looks different depending upon how you live your equestrian life. Maybe that looks like taking an easier lesson, or instead of taking a lesson, you go for a trail ride. Maybe you're an equestrian who does a lot of horse chores. So maybe one day you do more horse chores so that you can have lighter days to rest your body more on the weekends, or whatever it may be. Another thing this looks like is training your body outside of the saddle, outside of the barn, so that those barn activities aren't as hard for your body to do, so that your capacity for physical exertion goes up. And that's where catering to your body doesn't always look like rest. Sometimes it looks like recognizing that you need to build muscle, flexibility, etc., to be a better equestrian and to be a safer equestrian. Second, if you're catering to your mind, this looks like mental self-care. The number 1 method for mental health care for equestrians should be learning how to connect with themselves and be aware of what is going on with them. Far too often, equestrians push away their own needs and cater to their horse's needs. And while this is admirable, this is not sustainable long-term for equestrians, especially when the equestrian lifestyle begins to get hard. So instead, equestrians must learn how to tune inwards and recognize the signs of mental fatigue before they get to burnout, before they get to the point of depression, anxiety, and other mental illnesses that they may experience. So maybe equestrians like you can have a journaling practice where once a week they write down the highs, the lows, and what they would want to change. And then every week they do this and they learn more and more about who they are as an equestrian and what they need in order to find success and to keep themselves from reaching burnout. Now, the mental health side of the equestrian lifestyle is going to be different for everyone. One person tuning inwards might notice that they need to delegate more tasks, or they might notice that they're lacking a barn family and they really want to make more equestrian friends. And that might help them build this camaraderie of energy of equestrians going through it so that when the bad things do happen, you have someone to call who just gets it. There's a difference when you're talking to a non-equestrian about a horse thing. There's a difference compared to when you're talking to an equestrian about a horse thing. You guys, and this is from a personal experience, but I've noticed like you're able to be like, oh yeah, he's lame again. And it's kind of like a haha moment of like, yep, here we go, I got it. But like if you say that to someone who's not an equestrian, they're like, oh my God, what's wrong? And like that is a valid response, but equestrians just match the conversation differently where it's like, I see you for how hard it is and I understand what you're going through. And oh my God, some of these horses just like stay healthy, you know? So I really like the idea of tuning inwards for equestrians to help maintain their mental health because it allows them to recognize where they're falling short in taking care of themselves. And finally, my piece of advice for equestrians looking to better their mental health is to cater to their soul. Now, this gets a little woo-woo, a little up in the air, all the things, but I do believe that there is something about who you are on the very, very inside and being able to fill that person up that allows equestrians to shine and find success and keep moving. So for equestrians, this might look like learning more from a body worker. It might look like turning to a religion that they associate with. It might mean that they have some spiritual practices that they use. But it's this idea of equestrians catering to their soul is the same idea of what actions can they take to fill their cup, to put energy back into themselves. That's their soul. That's what allows equestrians to move forward, to find success and alignment and peace and clarity in their equestrian lifestyle. And I don't think it's a bad thing if the catering to your soul looks a lot like catering to your physical body or catering to your mind. I think there's overlap between these three things. And if you really want to talk about the overlap, yoga goes right in the middle and overlaps with all three. And that is why I love yoga for equestrians. The yoga asana practice, the physical yoga practice, caters to the body. But in the same way, it caters to the mind because of the meditative state that is achieved through the yoga asana. And finally, it caters to the soul because through the yoga practice, you're filling your own cup. You're learning to find light and energy from within you. That's where I'm going to leave this episode today. If you are looking for more, visit callebautyoga.com. There you can see our latest programs, courses, workshops, etc. And right now I am so excited to be introducing a free workshop in January on the 24th. Space is limited. This workshop is all about how to find and build connection with your horse in 3 simple steps. And this workshop will only be offered once for free. This is because it's a new workshop and I want to make sure that the method of which I'm educating works for the material. So all I'm asking in return for free entry is a review with any critiques, any criticisms, what went well, what didn't. If that sounds amazing to you, hop on over to the website. From there, you'll find the intake form, and that way I can get you all the information and on the list of people that will be attending the workshop. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, night, or whenever you may be watching. I'll see you in the next episode.